Okay, take two. Take one didn't go very well. Sup guys, welcome to another tier list video. Today we have custom Mystic Banner tier list, which is only specifically for RTA because I'm an RTA player. So I'm just gonna do a tier list video of all the ML characters that can be summoned in the Mystic Banner that's coming up from the 9th of October based on how they perform in RTA. So today we have SS tier, S tier, A tier, B tier, and C tier. So I think I'll focus mostly on the SS tier and the S tier because they are more or less the meta units right now, and everything else is like usable but not as strong. So let's get right into it. So for SS tier, we have Arunka, Maid Chloe, FCC, Balian, Luna, Huayang, and Lionheart. Let's just start from the left because I think I put this in sequential order. So basically Arunka being the best and Lionheart being the worst of the SS tier. So Arunka, one of the best tanks out there right now. Is one of the most first pick units. She is very meta. You can play her on a counter set, you can play a protection set, you can play her on a full defense immunity set. She can be played in a lot of styles. Aggro, cleave, tank down. She's basically everywhere, into her steady as well. You don't even have to worry about not having Rocket Punch or MOAS artifact for her because she can work on Proof of Valor or like Noble Oath, right? If you don't even have the artifacts for her. So she's one of the best characters right now. I think not much need to be explained. But yeah, if you do have Rocket Punch or MOAS, she becomes like a potential DPS for your team as well, right? So because of how versatile she is in the current meta, that's why she's like one of the best characters right now to get. And then following up with Arunka, we have Maid Chloe. This Maid Chloe character is really... I think she is the best survivor right now in the meta. She is so annoying. After the recent buff balance patch they did to her, she easily became one of the best units in the game right now. She has healing every turn. She has fixed damage reduction. She has revive to the whole team. Defense buff to the whole team. ER, team imprint to the whole team. S1 stun, S1 self CR push. She is one of the best survivors in the game right now. If you are looking to play turn 2 or aggro, she is either gonna be the best healer for you, best sustainer for you, or one of the best anchors for you as well. Because Maid Chloe can just revive your DPS, revive the free run on your team, you know. She can revive your DPS very easily and basically keep them alive to kill your enemy, right? So, one of the best survivors in the game right now, for sure. If you don't have her, I recommend pulling for her right now for the current meta at least. And then moving on with FCC, she's basically almost the same as Maid Chloe, but she's a tank, right? So basically, she's an Aurea, so she's a mitigator. Also a fixed damage reduction tank, and also gives a lot of a barrier to your team, so a lot of sustain, a lot of mitigation, right? S3 skill now, strips the whole team. S1 100% provo, really strong. You can use her in a lot of tank down teams. I would say she's one of the best knights right now, comparable to maybe Ilinef, right? But I think she's way better than Ilinef right now because of how much she can mitigate in general. So FCC one of the best tanks right now. If you're missing a tank, if you're missing FCC, you play turn 2, FCC is the best to pick up. Following FCC, you have Balian. Okay, I know that you guys might see Balian in the lower tier based on the boss selector tier list, the other video that I did. But this time, because of Free Run, which came out like a week ago, no, 2 weeks ago actually, she became one of the most played units right now in the meta because she is a direct counter to Free Run, and Free Run is really overpowered right now in the meta. That's why Balian is up there. Balian is up there to block her souls, acts as the Aureas, acts as a DPS as well if you put her on 3F. Enables you to play Soulburn Ignore ER openers, enables you to play Soul Cleaves like Ludwig. So she is up there right now. And then next we have Luna. So basically Luna is... I'm pretty sure Luna will always be like a S tier character or SS tier character. Soulburn Ignore ER opener. S2 does fake damage, defense break. S3 full strip, full unbuffable, full sail. I think she's gonna be one of the best openers for a long while. So Luna is still up here. I don't think she needs more explanations. So she's up here all the time. If you are an aggro player or a cleave player missing Luna, I would recommend to get her. But if you're a turn 2 player, honestly, I think if you're a turn 2 player, you could prioritize the first 4 characters over Luna. Or maybe someone in the A or maybe someone in the S or A tier, depends on how you play. And next we have Huayang. I honestly don't know if Hwayang should be SS tier or S tier, but based on how I play so far and what I see so far from how people play, I think Hwayang is up here in SS tier right now. She used to be in like the B tier, A tier kind of unit, but recently because of Rust being a thing, because of Lady of Skills being a thing, because of Make Chloe being a thing, because of Arunka, Valiant, Luna, Ruel, she becomes one of the best DPSs in the game right now. X-Sting, increased damage to light enemies. She is really one of the best DPS right now. Immune to debuffs. I think that's the most important part about her kit right now in the meta, which makes her very, very strong. So Hwayang is up there for sure. But will you prioritize her over the front units? Over the first 5? Up to you. If I were you, and I don't have like these 6 units, I would definitely put for Arunka Make Chloe instead. So yeah. And then after Hwayang, we have Lionheart. I put Lionheart up here because of the current meta. We have Setsuka running around everywhere. We have counter units everywhere. We have Fern with the extra attack. Arunka on counter, right? So I think it's mainly because of Setsuka, which makes Lionheart a very, very strong DPS right now. She also does so much damage to the point where she doesn't even care about the pen rest warfare, like the penetration resistance warfare. She doesn't really care too much about it. She doesn't even care about Elinef that much as well, because she just does a lot of damage naturally. You can just put on Symbol on Unity if you want to create, if you want to run the aggro style Lionheart and just create their evasion units, or you could go Golden Rules and play like a more bruiser-ish style. So both works, right? Lionheart is a really, really strong DPS right now. That's why I put it up there. Okay, moving on, we have S tier. So that concludes the SS tier, and now we are going on to the S tier. So for S tier, we have ML, Elinef, Strays, Conqueror, Ruel, Celine, Kayron, Bao, Shu, Ilfin, Ray. I don't know if I should put Elinef for the S tier or the SS tier, because like I said, right, Lionheart doesn't care about Elinef passive because she just does that much damage. But Elinef does help to mitigate damage from Strays, from any defense ban DPS, right? So she is still really strong, but I don't think she'll be up on the SS tier with the rest. But definitely S tier for sure. She's still really strong. She's still a really, really good mitigation. So I'll put Elinef here. And then followed by Elinef, we have Strays. I think Strays, everyone knows how strong this guy is, right? You fight a slow player, you pick Strays, their highest HP unit instantly dies if they don't have Elinef or Penrest as a warfare rule. This guy is still really OP, just instantly deletes your enemy. But you have to play aggro or make sure you're faster, so that's the only downside playing Strays. But yeah, I'll put him at S tier because he's not played like every game, and he has counters to him still. And moving on, we have Conqueror Lilius. She also recently got buffed. That made her one of the best openers right now, alongside Armid, I would say. So basically, if you're a cleave or aggro player, you want to have Conqueror Lilius, Armid, and Renak geared. I would say these 3 units are the best openers right now in the game. So Conqueror is definitely up here as well. Like usually, most turn 2 players ban Armid, pre-ban Armid. So you're left with like Conqueror Lilius as the other option for your opener. And this girl is really, really strong as well, because she can combo very well with Aidin and Summer Hua. And not even that, right? She has a defense build on S2 right now. She has a team wide push, vigor buff, S1 to attack. Really, really strong right now. Really, really strong opener right now. So I recommend you get her if you are a cleave aggro player and missing an opener. And after Conqueror, we have Ruel. This unit, I don't know if you guys heard of like the memes around Twitch community or like any E7 community, but this Ruel Make Chloe combo is something else. This Ruel Make Chloe combo with like FCC or Arunka is something else. Let's just say. So I'll put her S tier, not SS tier, because Make Chloe just provides way more individually to a team compared to Ruel. But when these two are played together, holy shit, man. But yeah, Ruel is really strong now. Recently, she just got a buff. She got EE, she S3. Puts invisibility on herself. And then if you run her on like Candlestick or something, she can basically cycle her skills a lot very quickly, which makes her very cancerous. So she's one of the best weavers as well in the game, with alongside Make Chloe. And then moving on, we have Spirit Eye Celine. One of the best DPSs still, because she's a DPS that's fast, has a free soul burn, can revive your team, immortal. And the most important is because she doesn't death pen. So she's immune. I would say immune, or like she doesn't care about the pen rest warfare or Elinef, right? So she's still naturally a very, very strong DPS with a lot of sustainability. And you can play her 2 styles. Like if you're worried that you're not an aggro player, you can play her ER style also. That works, right? That works. It's fine. You can go ER or speed pen. Both works as well. So after study, we have Kayron. Since Freerun is very meta right now, one of the only ways to kill Freerun is fixed damage. And where does Kayron specialize in? Fixed damage. Exactly. That's why he's meta right now. And he's basically immune to debuff because you are gonna build him on ER and full tank, right? At like base speed. Or you can go some cheese build and build him DPS. That works too. I don't know how to play that comp. I mean, I don't know how to play that build, but you can do that. So, but most of the time you'll be running a tank Kayron, which counters Freerun in the current meta. That's why he's good. But when they have a FCC or make Chloe, he becomes like half as useful because his fixed damage is halved. So he won't do that much damage anymore. But when there's no FCC or make Chloe, then he's really, really strong. And then after Kayron, we have Baal. I only put Baal S tier because he's a very, very strong anti-cleave option right now. If you build him fast, he can basically cut a lot of Armid players or Renard players, right? But yeah, just generally one of the best anti-cleave units right now. Plus his S3 can delete almost any normal units, normal being non-tank units, because his S3 skills with his HP right now. So let's say you beat him like 20 something k HP, he can do almost 20k damage on S3. But the only problem with his S3 is that it defense spans. So once again, Penrest Warfare, Ilinef counters his damage. But other than that, he's a really, really good anti-cleave unit right now. And then after Bao, we have Shu. Shu is seen more nowadays compared to last season because of all these Mate, Well, Arunka, Ilinef, Ras, Lady of Skills player, right? All these names that I just mentioned all have to do something with their HP. And Shu is one of the best units to provide injury to the enemy team. So that's why she's up here. She's one of the best DPS when it comes to that. But when it comes to a normal game versus Freerun, versus Setsuka, versus mid Chloe Ruel, she's not that good. So summon her when you are only like really missing a few units, right? I wouldn't prioritize her. But she is a really good unit in injuring all the HP characters, all the HP skilling characters, all the annoying ones. Especially Ras. And after Shu, we have Yufin. I think Yufin will be something like Luna, right? It will be something like Luna. Should be an all-time good unit because of what she does. So like Fireball this, she cuts CR push by half. She can be built as a tank. She can be built as an Elbrus, annoying DPS. So she's still up here for sure. But recently she's been not as strong because of the current stronger units like Freerun, like Setsuka, like Arunka. She doesn't really do much to them, so she's not seen that much anymore, but she's still strong. After Yufin, we have DDR, Death Dealer Ray. DDR is kinda... Okay, DDR is still good now, but I would say only on the effectiveness build. I think if you go ER build on DDR, it's basically useless. If you go tank build on DDR, it's basically useless. I'll only pull him in S tier if you build him on effectiveness build. Same as Shu when it comes to injury. And moreover, he can sleep the enemy as well, which is huge because sleep guarantees crit. And why is it good? Because Setsuka is a thing right now. Setsuka is an evasion character and she's really annoying. So one of the ways to deal with Setsuka is by sleeping her and then using your DPS to crit her, or like using someone that can control her to like crit her to land a hit. So DDR is still not bad. He's still up there. He's still pretty good. But only effectiveness build. And that concludes the S tier. Now we're moving to A tier. I think I'll speedrun through this a bit faster because A tier is not that much to pay attention to. So, but yeah, A tier we have got Zio. I don't think we need to explain much about Zio. An opener that guarantees turn 1 to cut all the Armid players, Conqueror players, Renard players. Like if you don't have an option to tank down against them, you can go Zio and just, you know, play Zio Cleave or just stop them turn 1. And then we have Pera. Honestly, Pera nowadays is kind of whatever. She's a good cleanser opener, but that's about it. Because Mid Chloe is buffed, so fixed damage is reduced. Pera doesn't see that much action anymore. But she's still okay. She's still a decent opener in some games. And then we have Polly. Polly also kind of fell off recently, but I think she's a decent 4 to 5 opener. Basically, you pick her on like 4th pick or 5th pick as an opener with your DPS on like 2-3. Because she still cuts Fighting Spirit or like basically any resources gained, right, by half. So fighting spirits currently in the meta is what, Keiron and Setsuka. She can slow them down by half, which is kind of huge actually sometimes. So you might want to focus on that part for her right now. No, don't really use her for like a flowchart cleave anymore or any aggro style, because she doesn't work anymore for that kind of drafts. And next we have Hangai. I think Hangai is still okay. Honestly, I have to move him down a bit. He's kind of whatever now. He cleanses on S3, sure. S2 defense span, but like everything is like so damn tanky right now. So his S2 can't even kill anything. He was good before Ras, Lady of the Skills came out. But now with all the new units coming out and the meta shifts, he is kind of whatever. So, okay, then next after Hangai, we have LRK. LRK right now is actually pretty decent because most players who play Freerun will want to pick Balian, right? So that they pick the direct counter to Freerun on their team. And they also can play Soulburn Cleave, Soulburn Ignore ERs, right? So if you don't have Balian to counter Freerun, one of the other ways is to build LRK on Crown of Glory, because if they pick Freerun and Balian together, they have like basically 2 to 3 AoEs per turn, or even more than that. So LRK on Crown of Glory basically removes souls, give you damage reduction, acts as a DPS that can cycle through pretty fast. S3 gives immunity, which is huge, to resist some random provokes or stuns or defense break. But yeah, LRK is kind of decent right now. The other way to deal with Freerun and Balian is Yuha, right? Because of the damage reflect. But if you don't want to play Yuha, you can play LRK on Crown of Glory. It's actually pretty reliable and consistent. So, and next we have Briar Witch. With all the stupid revivers going around, Well, Mate, Celine, Briar is one of the direct counters to them because they can't revive. You can just focus their DPS or focus their frontline or whatever, focus something, their win con, and they basically cannot revive them afterwards, right? So they're forced to like surrender afterwards, unless they can kill your Briar, but most of the time no. So Briar is one of the good units right now because it blocks revive. And then moving on to SSV. I would say SSV right now, it's okay, but I will only pick her in a cleave setup where she does enough damage. No, where she does enough damage to kill the weak units on the enemy, the lower HP targets on the enemy team, and still can survive through debuffers. So for example, they go like some Luna, some tank Luna, some Tenebria comms, some tank Tenebria comms, and then you play Armid, right? Or you play like some Conqueror Lilius, or you play some sort of opener. And then Vivian is there to do damage, but she's also immune to debuffs. So one of the decent DPS right now in the meta, I would say. But of course, there are still better options. And then moving on with Loa. I think Loa is still strong if you can guarantee a Soulburn on your team. Because a Soulburn Ignore ER opener will always be strong, depending on the situation. So I will put her here though, because she doesn't, like her provokes doesn't really do much now because of all the tank meta, the turn 2 meta going around, right? Like the mid well meta going around, Balian being a thing, she can't really Soulburn most of the time. So Loa is up here or down here, depending on how you view it. And then next we have DJB. DJB kinda, I guess DJB is okay. If they pick like FCC or protection set units, you can barrier inversion, push out your team, and then maybe control them or just cleave them. You can do that, but she's very prone to debuffers with high F or just basically other openers in general. That's why he's not really seen that much now. After DJB, we have Ludwig. Ludwig is still one of the best cleave DPSs bridges in the game. And now he's seen more because Balian is usually picked on either side, right? So let's say if Balian is picked on your side and you want to go like some Zio cleave or like some Sylvan cleave, Ludwig is definitely a DPS to consider. Or maybe they pre-ban Balian so that they can play Freerun. That means souls are guaranteed for you. Then you can play Ludwig cleave into their Freerun first pick or something like that. That also works. So yeah. Then after Ludwig, we got Dilibat. Still a pretty good cleanser. But you can't pick her in, you can't pick her into Luna and Tenebria because of block and sail. But other than that, any other debuffers, she's still a decent counter, like into DDR or some stuff. She's still a decent pick. Not seen that much anymore though, because the strongest debuffers right now are just Luna and Tenebria, so she's not seen that much. And next, we have Hasedi. I think Hasedi also doesn't need much explanation. She's just Hasedi. If you play the turn 2, if you play Hasedi gameplay, then you can just get Hasedi. But honestly, nowadays, if you want to play a Hasedi matchup, you don't even need to have Hasedi to play Hasedi matchup, if you know what I mean. Because like you can just pick tanks, you can just pick evasion characters, and they're all naturally slow and tanky enough to play against Hasedi. So like you don't really need Hasedi to play Hasedi matchups. So she's kind of whatever right now. And next you have Ruana, still one of the good breaches to cleaves, but you know, like all other cleaves, like all other breaches, she's weak to Yufin and Politis. And she doesn't really do much now because ER warfare is a thing. So if they pick units with like 150 ER and above, your Ruana might not land a debuff on them. It's not very reliable anymore. So ER warfare is a thing. And then you need to have an opener on your team as well. And you have Arunka. If you have Arunka on your team as well, she can't be played together with your opener because Arunka needs to be in front. So like, you know, she has like some conflicts in the team comp, so that's why she's in A tier right now. Okay, Solitaria. I think Solitaria will also be one of the characters like Yufin and Luna, right? She's very unique. But right now, the units that uses focus in the meta is not so strong anymore. So for example, Flan? I guess it's just Flan right now that's in the meta. But Flan is not seen that much anymore, which means Solitaria won't be seen as much anymore because she counters focus. But if you were to wave off the focus part of her kit and use her as a debuffer, there are way better options. She's not as reliable compared to like DDR or something, right? Solitaria is down here because of the current focus meta. But in the future, if there are more focus units, then, you know, Solitaria might move up a tier also. But yeah. Okay, moving on with Opsig. She recently also got a buff together with Ruel. It makes her a better DPS, for sure, but I think her usability is the same as before. She just does more damage now. So basically you see a barrier with big Opsig, right? You see a barrier with big Opsig, and that's it. And that's it. She's a good DPS into barrier characters, that's it. You can't really pick her into Ilinef or Penrestru because she'll do way lesser damage there. But yeah, other than that, she's just into the barrier team comp, like FCC for example. And next you have Taeyu. Only pick Taeyu if you are like missing few units or you are playing a Zio cleave and you need a bridge, right? And then the best bridge for Zio is Taeyu. So yeah, that's it. One of the best bridge for Zio. That's about it. And next you have LQC. She also recently got buffed, but I feel like her buff doesn't really give her much more usability because you still have to pick her into a dark unit. For example, FCC in the meta right now, yeah, FCC. But like most FCCs are fast enough to put up skill now before your LQC. So it is really hard to play LQC right now. She's in a rather tough spot. You need to have more dark units in the meta for her to see more usability. Like look at this right now. Light, dark, light, dark, light, dark, light. Like there's a lot of light units right now. Not much dark units are meta, so that's why she's like in the A tier. And then moving on with Sharun. Sharun is the last character I'll put in A tier because of how much stuns and sleeps are in the meta right now. Like the only stuns and sleep I can think about is what? Bow, sleep. That's it. Stun, you have Tenebria, but Tenebria blocks you, so you can't even cleanse with Sharun. Oh, but you can use her as a bridge with Rinuk if they don't have Make Chloe FCC. Like you can go Rinuk, fix damage, Sharun cuts, and then she just extra fix damage on her cascade. That also works too, but like not much anymore. But yeah, that concludes the A tier, and then moving on to B tier. P-Flan, really good bridge with Zio. One of the counters to Freeren if you are going Zio Cleave, because she does damage from her bombs and her burns, which is fixed damage. So yeah. And then we have Haze. Still an okay anti-cleave unit, but most of the time he gets control or he just dies. But yeah, most of the time, Penrest Warfare or Ilinef will just block his damage, so he becomes useless. And then we have Senya. Senya and Haze usually is like the same, on the same level all the time. Senya, Haze. But yeah, Senya kind of whatever right now. She's slow. She's immune to she's not immune. She's prone to injury. She's just generally hard to use right now. And next we have Archdemon Shadow. I would say she will be good if she could have some sort of strip to apply her seal. But I think that would be too strong. So she is currently what she is, I guess. I think you can pick her when enemies have DPSs that don't have cleanse and rely on their passives. Like maybe Setsuka without immunity providers. She can seal them and then, you know, do something. But yeah, other than that, most of the time you will face a Arunka, you'll face a Cleanser, you'll face someone faster than you'll face someone cleaving you. So Archimate Shadow won't do that much for you. And then moving on with Araminta, still a decent bridge for your opener, but you need a stripper, and you have to make sure she can land the debuffs on them, right? Not Penrest. ER Warfare still cucks her, so there's that. Candy, kind of the fire off meta. Dark Corvus, good in Guild War, I guess. In RTA, I'm not sure. Recently, I haven't seen any Dark Corvus. Maybe in the Royal Mid matchup, he can stall long enough and then like kill them one by one. That could work. Fridica, useless now. Just Kisei, a decent DPS to pair with Armid. But that's about it. ML Can, still a decent counter to like Ludwig Cleaves and so like those very direct damage dealing cleaves. ML Can is still a decent counter. But yeah, you rather play Realm Mid and some stuff. A Tywin, fell off. TML, I feel like TML is low-key not bad though. But you have to make sure that they are all slower than you by like 2 times. Because that's how a kit works, right? You have to be faster than them by like 2 times the speed or something like that. To be able to do full damage. And then you can extinct them as well. But that's the problem, right? You have to make sure you're way faster than them. And most of the time, you probably won't be faster than them. That's why. So yeah, TML kind of fell off a bit. MLV, you rather play Setsuka or Aidin. RB is just RB, I guess. No change. The only problem with RB right now is that a lot of things are too tanky. He doesn't kill anything. So RB is RB. And then C tier, I don't think I'll explain anything here. Like, fell off, useless. Unfortunately, my wife, my bias, let's say. My bias, my favorite character is shit right now. So unfortunate, but yeah. And that basically concludes the tier list. Cause these can't be summoned. They have been released way too recently. So you can't summon for Tenebria, Lady of Skills, and Aria. But if they were to be able to be summoned, I would say Tenebria SS tier, Lady of Skills SS tier, Aria probably A tier now. And yeah, Ras is free. This guy is collab unit. So, but yeah, that concludes the tier list video. I hope this helps you to decide whether you are going to summon for etc, XX unit, whatever. But do note that usually after a custom Mystic banner, there is something new gonna come out. The best way to go about this custom Mystic banner is to save your summons until they announce the next ML5. And then you decide whether you want to pull for all these characters. Because the next ML5 could be something even more broken than everything here. Could be SSS tier. Could be like a godlike tier. Could be a, I don't know, the whole the whole player base will riot against Morgate kind of unit. I don't know. We never know. But yeah, the best way is to just be patient and then decide after they announce the next ML5. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this tier list video. But yeah, see you guys in the next video. Bye bye. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.